I was in Tampa with my uncle and my aunt, and I was sleeping with my grandmother, and I fell off the bed. It was a very hard floor because all the floors were tile, and I kind of like got hurt a little bit. But I like wasn't feeling myself, and my aunt called my mom to take me back home because I was like crying. I wanted to go home. Like I didn't want to stay there anymore. But that wasn't usually me. I just wanted to be there. But my mom and my dad, they came and picked me up that night. And the Saturday, my mom made an appointment with the doctor so that I would have a doctor's appointment because I wasn't feeling well either. I had a terrible cough, my mom says. So come to the Monday, I went to the doctor's appointment, and the doctor was checking out my right eye first. She was doing the light, and then she was doing the little figures and the little vision board that you have at the back of the doctor's door. And when she did that one first, I was able to see. And then when she switched to my left eye, it was difficult. Like I couldn't see anything. Like she told me to cover my right eye, and then she put a little figure in front of me. And I thought it was the same one that she showed me before, but it wasn't. My mom thought I was lying. So she was like, stop playing. And I was like, I'm not playing, I'm serious. And so my doctor gave my mother I forgot what it's called. She gave her a doctor's note to go to I think a obstetrician, that's the name of the eye doctor. And he kind of knew what it was, but he's like, there's something that's like making her blind in her left eye. Because I'm blind in my left eye, I'm fully blind in my left eye, and I have no peripheral vision in my right eye. So I can see like right here and nothing else after like going back. And so after he did that, he made an appointment for me to have an MRI. So I went to Florida Hospital, that's where I had my MRI. And so I had my MRI, and he called my grandmother, and he told my grandmother like he knew exactly what was wrong with me. And so a couple days later, he made an appointment for us to come back in. And we came back in, and he told my mom that I had a brain tumor the size of a golf ball right behind my left eye. At the time, my aunt worked at Winnie Palmer. She was one of the baby nurses, the one who would take care of the babies. And she was talking to her colleagues about me, and she was telling them exactly what was happening. And so one of the chief of staff, he was saying that if it was his child, he would have the best doctor. His name was Dr. Oliveira, I remember him, and Dr. Gegg, and he would have them do my surgery. And so my mom, my aunt, my cousin, and I, we went to this new doctor, and we talked to him about it. And he said to my mom that he would go up through my nose and he would drain the fluid from the tumor instead of taking it out. And if it grew again, then that's what they would do. So I think it was like a couple weeks later, we went in on a Wednesday, and my surgery was the Friday, I think. I'm not sure, but it was someday during the week. When I went into surgery, the night before, we just went through like a series of like, they took blood from me, they like put me on contrast, they did everything. And then the morning, my family was there. Some of my family came down from New York. My godmother was there. Everybody was there, like just like surrounding me. And we went through with the surgery. The surgery went well, but when I woke up, I took a deep breath and all the air went up to my brain and I coded. And so they were able to resuscitate me, but then I coded again. And then I was put on a respirator. I think I was on a respirator for about 3 days. When I got off the respirator, when they pulled the tube out of my throat, I threw up because they gave me grape juice and ice cream because they thought that it would help because that's what I asked for. But I threw everything up. Nothing was going down for a while. So it took a little time. I was in the hospital for a couple more weeks after that. But after I had the surgery, I had a CF leak. So fluid from the brain was coming through my nose and it like didn't stop. So like I had that for like a week or two. And they put me on bed rest for a week. So after that, I had went back into surgery. They scheduled another surgery to put like blockage to block the CF leak from coming down. And so after I did that, everything was fine, but I was still on bed rest. So after I had that surgery, I was out of the hospital in like 2 weeks, I think, but I wasn't able to walk, like, because I was on bed rest for a long time. So it was hard for my legs to like, remember how to like use them. And I went for an MRI and my tumor regrew. So after that, we had a doctor's appointment with Dr. Amy Smith at Arnold Palmer, and she told my mom about this hospital in Tennessee called St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. And she told my mom about the benefits and how she didn't have to pay any bills there. Everything is taken care of, and that it's just to be there is just to worry about your child, and so that you wouldn't have anything to worry about, no medical fees, nothing. Like, you would be able to be there and everything would be taken care of. So when I really wanted to go there because I just wanted to fly. In September, I flew up to St. Jude's, and I was there for a month because I had another surgery there, and they drained the fluid from my tumor. Oh, my tumor is benign too. It wasn't malignant. But they drained the fluid from my tumor and they put a shunt in. So what they did was shave my hair right here, and I have a shunt like right here. So whenever my tumor does regrow back, they can shave my hair and they would just drain the fluid from the tumor. So after that Friday that I had the surgery, my cousin was crying. Like, she was crying because she thought I was gonna die, because she thought like it was gonna happen again what happened the first time. But it wasn't that bad, because the next day I was able to leave the hospital and go back to St. Jude's, because I had my surgery at Maughn Hospital in Tennessee. And then after that day, after the surgery, I went back to St. Jude's. My mom got worried during the surgery because it was taking longer than it should have. There was skin, or there was a blockage in my airway. And if it was left there, I would have suffocated on it and, well, died. But he saw it, and just in time he was able to take it out. And then the next day, which was a Saturday, they did vision tests, and then they did walking, and they did a little bit of physical therapy with me just to make sure that I was able to walk. And then after I went back to the St. Jude's Hospital. And so there I would get blood work. I would do physical tests. I would do a lot of MRIs and CT scans and x-rays. And yeah, that's kind of what they would do. So after that, they decided that I should take chemo. But my mom didn't want me to take chemo because I would lose all my hair. And they said most likely I wouldn't grow my hair back. I would be bald for the rest of my life. And my mom didn't want that. So my mom did research, and she found this treatment called radiation beam therapy. And there I would just lay on a table for about 30 minutes, 30 to an hour, I think. And I would go around. It was like this big dome, and it was like the table that was out, and then I would go around it. And they had this little helmet thing that they sized to my my head and my teeth. And I would just lay there, and it would have a pinpoint of where exactly to go. Yeah, after I did all of that, I would go back to St. Jude's. So for the first 3 years, I think, I went to St. Jude's every 3 months. So after every 3 months, I would go back, and then they made it every 6 months. And now I go every year. So that's how it's going to be for the rest of my life. But I guess I'm happy I went through it, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So I feel in a way, because when I was first diagnosed, I didn't really understand what that meant. I just knew that I was going to be in the hospital, because that's what my mom and my aunt explained to me. But I didn't know that I was going to go through so much. It was a very painful process. During that time, my mom would just stay awake with me, and she would just hold me while I would be crying. Yeah, that was she was my stronghold through all of it. Sometimes when I would have, because I have a drastic fear of needles. I hate needles with my entire life. So up until I was 13, I always used to sit in my mom's lap every time I had to get an IV or I had to get a shot or anything. I used to count them. I used to be I have 24 here, I have 32 here. I stopped counting once I got to 100. But it was it was kind of hard. And I sometimes people would they'll say to me like, you're very strong, but they wouldn't see me when I would be crying. It was really hard, and I'm still going through it, but I'm learning to deal with it. I'm learning that I can't change it, but I can accept it. And my mom would always tell me, I can't even remember. It was, I think, change the things I can and accept the things I can't. And she would always remind me of that. And she would always tell me that I wouldn't go through this if it wasn't for a reason. So when I would just like be crying, I would like just wipe my tears and just like keep pushing, because I knew that my nephews were looking at me, my siblings were looking at me, my baby cousins, and everybody was looking towards me. But sometimes it got really hard that I wanted to give up, but I never did. I just like kept going, because at the end of the day I was still alive, I survived, and that God has a plan for me, and that no matter what, that He would always be there for me, and that even if everybody is gone, that God would have me, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Him, if it wasn't for the prayers of the church, if it wasn't for the prayers of my aunts, my grandparents, my siblings. If it wasn't for them, then if it wasn't for prayers either, then I wouldn't be here.